Huddle. We come at you every Tuesday to discuss maintaining forward progress in your flooring career. With me, as always, Daniel and Jose of Preferred Flooring out of Michigan. I'm Paul Stuart with Go Carerra and Stewart and Associates out of Wichita. We are rounding out our four-part series on relationships as it applies to the business of flooring. So we've discussed homeowners, we've discussed general contractors, we've discussed installers. Today is the final piece to that, which is suppliers and distributors, vendors. This one is kind of near and dear to my heart from one perspective. If you can be pleasant and build relationships with your vendors, you can give yourself a strategic advantage because they are just used to being treated like shit by many a people. They're used to people calling them on the phone and cussing them out and yelling because their stuff's not here or something like that. All you got to do is just ratchet it down, be respectful, and deliver. That doesn't mean they don't mess up and we don't have, corrective conversations. But at the end of the day, be kind. Just be kind. They're people, and everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes the mistake is a lot of times not even the person you're on the phone with who you're treating like crap. So it's cold as the dickens out here in Wichita, Kansas. We got ourselves a blizzard moving in, so thus the hat. So, gentlemen, what's your initial take on the relationships you guys have with your vendors and suppliers and people? So did you become friends prior to, or were you friends through your business? Sure. Well, the relationships with the vendors, if you do it right. Now, I just want to point out, you guys are installers at your core. I mean, it's where you came in. You probably started the relationship there. And I got to be honest, it seems like installers are better at that. They like you said, Daniel, they'll hang out at the distributor, drink some coffee, have a donut before they get out to their job site, that kind of thing. Um, Companies, when we talk to our vendors, a lot of times they'll just tell us thank you for being, pleasant. Um, Payment and things like that are obviously important to pay the vendor on time. That obviously helps with vendor relations. But the day-to-day person you deal with at your vendor, at any of the vendors, those people don't, take the payments or whatever. It's the credit department. Your job with or my job has always been to form relationships, and I do expect. I mean, I'm a little different than you on that uh, particular subject there, Dan, Jose. Is I actually do leverage those relationships. I mean, we're friends for a reason. We became friends through business normally, but we're friends for a reason. It's usually because we've done things right by them and they've done things right by us in business. And so then you kind of birds of a feather kind of thing, you enjoy working with people like that. So, I'll leverage those relationships to try to get better pricing if I can. Uh, Obviously you don't go to the well every single week, but you certainly want to. I certainly feel it's a good practice to leverage those relationships. Other companies can do it too. Like, you could be nice too, but a lot of times they don't talk to their employees about treating their vendors well. So some shop may allow their project managers or something to call and get rude with the customers or with the vendor. And that happens in my company too, but I always pull the employee aside and talk to them about it and say, these guys are important to us. That's who we do our largest purchasing with. And it's important that we maintain good vendor relationship. Well, and I'm assuming that you guys specify some work that takes work, selling their products. I mean, if you do it right, we're like their salesman, or I should say, if they do it right, if the relationship's good, then we're like free salesmen to them. They don't have to pay. They just got to give us good pricing. That's the price for us to be out pushing your products and building your brand in the market. So, I mean, that's the payment. You're not getting any compensation like their salespeople do or like their sales reps do. So your compensation is preferred pricing. If I'm bringing you work, I do expect preferred pricing on the out there in the market. Well, in the meantime, build the relationships. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That right there is outside of pricing. That's a huge benefit is, them holding the receivable a little longer for you is a big deal. I mean, that can help cash flow. Um, Certainly, when you start talking about your main vendors, um, that can be a huge thing. That can be, a substantial improvement to your cash flow
Yeah.
over the course of that, 90 days or whatever.
So
Do
so
you
I think.
guys
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just going to say, do you guys look at it as building these personal relationships with the counter person and the sales rep
Oh yeah.
and the owner maybe?
Oh yeah. 100%. And I'm not gonna lie. You know what helped us out a little bit too is obviously after 2020. I mean, they already liked us, but after Daniel ended up winning Resilient Installer of the Year in 2020, they just had a lot of inside jokes in there, like, "Oh, we're superstar this, superstar," and it was pretty funny, right? I mean, so we just, we have very thick skin, and we made fun of ourselves with it, made fun of the situation, but it went further than we thought it would go. But they just, it opened up more doors with more of the people internally there. So with those doors being open, we take advantage of that and then create more relationships. Now we're not just knowing the couple guys at the front counter and the rep who's been coming to the office or who's been calling us and texting us and chit chatting for the past few years. Now it's it's higher up than them. It's corporate. It's up the ladder, and
Well,
that right there has helped our relationship with everybody overall. Because now, even the delivery guys, they like us too because we've never belittled a delivery guy. Like, yeah, go put the stuff over there. Or hey, the keys are right there. Yeah, this is where I want it. Why'd you unload it here?
They always tell us to back up, man. I got this. It's like, no, man, I'm trying to help you out too.
Yeah, man, you have other things to do. I mean, and they're like, man, nobody ever helps us like that. Like, well, I don't know why not. Like, I know you have other stops. I know you have other things to do. Or if it's the end of the day, I know you want to go home too. So there's no reason for me to watch you work.
yeah, that's a good point. Um, I don't know that we have a choice. I mean, at our office, when our after about 10 o'clock, our two warehouse guys are out delivering, and all that's left is our backup, which is one of our PMs, and then it's Joel, who's our COO, and then it's me. I mean, sometimes you just got to unload trucks
Yeah,
and help people out. This vendor relationship thing. I mean, if you think about it, working with your sales reps, if you got a good relationship with them, you may get preferred pricing. But I would tell you story after story of times when we needed something on a weekend and they'd come in, open up they're closed, and they'll come in, open it up and give me what I need, or give one of our
yep,
guys what they need, or staying late. We used to have one of our guys. He doesn't work for us anymore. He's still a friend of mine, but he was with me for probably 15 or 16 years. And his name was Ray, and they called him Late in the Day Ray. Almost every vendor, Late in the Day Ray, and he got that reputation of, like, calling them and they'd help him out, and whether it's a weekend or a little bit late on a Friday night even. I mean, it's it's building those relationships with the counter people as well, that they're willing to stay a little bit longer, uh, to help someone else out, and they wouldn't do that for just anybody. If they
right.
don't like you or you're a jerk, they'll be like, well, we closed it for, I'm so sorry.
Well, it's unique with us because one of the distributors over here, one of the counter guys that we met 20 plus years ago is now our direct salesperson. So it's like you start that relationship there, and now, he'll come in here and he'll hang out for a couple hours too. Just sometimes,
Wait, if his guys are watching, he doesn't hang out for a couple hours. We just made that up.
and talking about work and stuff.
Yes, all work.
But yeah, you start
Well,
at,
then,
treat everyone the same because you never know where they're gonna end up, right?
well, and it's the right thing to do. It's just like we
That
don't
too.
have, you don't have a hierarchy of human beings just based
Right.
off of what they do. That's kind of short-sighted and superficial.
Yeah,
If it's like, oh, this person can help me, so, or may help me, so I'll be nice to them. I'm just saying be nice because it's the right thing to do. Just
Yeah.
be pleasant to the other person on the end of the
And then
phone that
like you
you're
were talking
asking
about
something of.
these salesmen that they go the extra mile. There's been instances where we order something and they're like, "Hey, this just came in. Where are you guys at?" And it's like, "Are you?" They ask first. They ask if we're here at the office, and we're like, "No, we're actually on a job site, in Lansing, which is like 45 minutes away, or Muskegon, which is another half hour, 45 minutes away." And they're just like, "You know what? I gotta go over here. I'll just bring it out to you right now."
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we've been very fortunate to come
Yeah,
across some really really nice
yeah. I mean,
people.
to the point where sometimes they're like, they have different spots, and some of the big places are down over in Detroit, and they're like, we have one of these in Detroit, but you're not going to get it till next week, but I got to drive down there anyway, so I'm just going to grab it for you and bring it right back up. And it's
Yeah.
those starting those relationships early on, so that way you have that, so when an opportunity like that presents itself, it's no question. It's like, I'm gonna do this for really my friend, right? It's not even a
Yeah.
business relationship
Yeah.
at that point. It's like, I know you guys need this, so this is what I'm gonna do for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm no way like proposing that you're fake or phony or whatever to anybody out there. I'm just saying, even if you don't like somebody, you could be, somewhat pleasant. I have vendors that there's a few. I won't ever name names, or at
We're
least not
trying
right
not to
now.
too.
But I have a few that I tell you what, man, they have an adversary. They got somebody in me that will switch their stuff out every time. I'm still nice to them though. I'm still pleasant. I just don't appreciate the way they do business, so I do things a little bit different, and um, I'll switch their products out, and we have the power to do it. So that doesn't mean that I have to be sour or mean to them. It just means that is the reality. Is you have your good vendors and you got your bad ones. The
You know,
best thing you could do is pick the ones that match your company's way of doing business, and try to align with them and help them make more money by selling their
yeah,
stuff,
and you
and
bring
then
up a
they're
good
going to help
point.
you back.
You bring up a good point on that, and we've run into. I know that we're still fairly new. Like we still got our pacifier, and we're still wearing our diapers in the sales industry, right? But we have found consistency through certain manufacturers where it's not consistent on others through the sales rep. And because of consistency, that is the product that we choose to push. And it's all falling back because commercial. A lot of what we do is spec, and they might not give you the option for an alternate. However, if I got to pull teeth to get some pricing from you, and or from whoever, and they're putting my back against the wall on a deadline, and I just spent X amount of hours or days to get this large proposal together, and now because you haven't responded to a phone call, text message, or email, I'm going to miss my opportunity to submit my proposal or my bid. Chances are, when somebody asks me what manufacturer they would recommend, that's not going to be it. So I mean, it's kind of the door swings both ways type deal, right? Like, you're a representative of not only yourself but your product as a rep, and I know that everybody gets busy, and I do understand that, but have a contingency or some kind of email saying, hey, I'm out of town, or hey, I'm doing this, or
I feel like the ones that do have those emails are still the ones that answer when they are out of town.
you're absolutely
Yeah,
right. They're prepared.
that's a
They're
good point.
prepared.
It is the ones who are
So
responsible enough to let you know they're not going to be there that actually show up anyway.
Right, and sometimes I'll email a rep and then they'll text me, "Hey, got your email? I'll get to it when I can."
yeah, yeah, and because of that scenario and that issue right there, Daniel took our sample shelf, and cleaned house. Said, nope, not this, not this, not this.
And that's what you were kind of talking about earlier. We can kind of visually show people exactly what we want them to see, and when you come in here, you can tell by our shelf who answers and who doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, so any vendors out there or sales reps, I mean, one of the biggest complaints is not answering the phone or getting back to people in a timely manner. Our best that I almost feel like that's the catalyst to a good relationship is when you first start dealing with the rep. I have a particular rep that I'm very fond of, and she just answers the phone. I don't care if she's on vacation, she's picking her kids up from school. Like I've talked to her in so many different scenarios because she just answers her phone when I call her. And when I need pricing quickly, I text her, hey, need a quick price on this, follow it up with a formal quote, but I need it now. And I get it. And I also sell well in excess of $1 million a year of her product.
That's a good relationship, man. That's you're performing for her and she's performing for you. That's a great dynamic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, seems like if you're just pleasant and on top of that, the rep is doing a good job, and you're going to find the ones just like, you know, you just kind of alluded to. You're going to find the ones that serve you the best, and that kind of fires off a good relationship. So,
I don't think I've ever been upset or mean with a rep because I do understand there's a lot of moving parts. But I also
Well, you just got to look at how many other flooring companies are around here and are not only, bidding a bunch of other projects, but are bidding the same project as
Yeah.
you. So it's like they probably got, a few hundred emails probably in a few hours. I can only imagine how much stuff that they have to deal with.
yeah,
yeah,
there's no reason to be mean to
yeah,
them.
All I do
they
is
signed up.
all I do is I ask for the pricing, and then like a day later, hey, just trying to be at the top of the inbox so that way you see it first thing in the morning.
That
Yeah,
leads me to a question here, Paul, and this is for you, right? Like, in correspondence with a rep when you're inquiring on pricing for a product, and this is learning for me, right? Like, I'm going to absorb this, I'm going to learn. What is your approach? Whether if it's a new rep or whether it's just your relationship is only via email and maybe a phone call every now and then. What is your approach when inquiring or asking about pricing? We don't have B2B or national price lists, so a lot of what we do is very personalized, and we do have to reach out.
we keep it personal the entire time. If I have a price list, we have plenty of price lists. I never go off price lists when I bid.
Yeah, no, we don't either.
I'm always going to call them or email them whatever has proven to be the best mode of getting in touch with them. But if I'm emailing, project name, who the architect is,
How many?
quantity,
Yeah.
Yep,
and product.
yep,
If I spec it, I say, here's the architect, my spec.
yep. Okay.
Or if it's not, if it's spec'd by the architect, they're going to know it. They met with the architect and had the conversation, so there's no use in trying to say you spec something you didn't. So I just tell them what the architect is, and they typically already have a price put together if they specified it. And in those, it's kind of a jump ball, right? But with your really good reps, you might see a little bit preferred treatment. But I always have those four key components. What's the project name? Who's the architect? Did I spec it or not? And then what is obviously the product name with the quantity or some approximation quantity?
Gotcha. Okay. And then I guess to add to that too, is it just a straight direct question for a direct answer, or are you cordial with them, or do you add a little personal touch, information, ask how their families do? I mean, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking some of that as well.
Yeah, typically I just try to silo those two things. So if I'm asking for pricing, I keep it real short, blunt, no jokes, no nothing. Here's what I need. Please respond by, and sometimes I'll put that in the subject line. Pricing ASAP or respond by, 12/22,
Right.
or kind of give them when I absolutely need the number so that they know what the if I get it sooner, which often I do, great. But if not, they know, and then I can refer back and say, listen, I made it clear I needed pricing by this time on this date. Where's my pricing? You know, and then even if that's in a friendship or a friendly sales rep, I kind of hold the personal stuff back to just when I'm talking to them, or an email out of the blue saying, "Hey, how's it going, man? Hope family's good." You know, kind of try to silo them myself. I don't know if that's right or wrong. It's just the way I've
It
done
probably
it.
keeps your inbox a little bit cleaner too, so you don't have to go back and say, "Oh, I know we were talking about this." Yeah,
Yeah, well, and it keeps them from feeling like they have to respond to something when you just want pricing at that moment, you know, and feeling like they got to respond to your friendly portion as well. And heck, if you're just asking for pricing, sometimes you can get it like
bang.
that if if they're prepared for it.
It's a good call. Learning
So
from you guys.
this podcast is going to be shorter because vendor relationships are pretty, I would say, simple, and maybe it's last because not because it's the least important. It's just, to me, it's the most simple because you're paying them money, so there's a level of that. But if you're just pleasant and you respect other people, that's really what you guys said. You're helping people get stuff off trucks. You're nice and you care about,
And
getting to know your counter people and that kind of stuff.
and you
So
know they'll visit us here in town too, and they'll be like, "Let's go do lunch." And majority of the time they're like, they're always trying to put it on the company card, and I know that they also have like expenses that they have to meet. But sometimes it's nice for you to kind of return that favor and,
Yeah.
and let them know that the relationship goes both ways. It's not just one sided. It's not gimme, gimme, gimme. It's like we appreciate you guys too for everything that you do for us.
that's a good point. Real good point.
Plus, we don't have it in us to always accept like I'm not. I'm still not used to that, right? I don't think I'll ever get used to that. Like,
Yeah, it feels a little odd. We told our reps to, if you want to take me or our COO or somebody like that, seemingly the leadership side of our company, out to lunch or something, just bring lunch into the office for everybody and come over to the office, and so that's 95% of the time when we're eating with a sales rep, it's at my office where installers can come in and grab some food, and like everybody can participate in the especially if a sales rep wants to take you out and show you appreciation for what you've done. I say show everybody. I'm not the only one selling stuff or working hard to build the relationship with that vendor, or pushing their product or whatever. Like, share the wealth with the rest of my office, and
yeah,
that's kind of how we've done it.
Right. And Kevin asks if we're just dealing with distributors or reps from manufacturers or both. And I think we're kind of talking about both because we have to deal with both.
yeah.
Because, in order to get some product, you're just going right through the distributor. And if you email the sales rep, they'll point you in the direction. Hey, I can sell you this, but you have to go over here for this.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, when the distributor doesn't have the answer, we're always going to the manufacturer anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Hmm.
hey, we don't really know, but that's where the friendships come in from going to the bigger events. So where, we have Kevin on here, we have Danny Sherman on here, and it's like these kind of people are, I'll reach out to them in order to get the answers that I need before sometimes I even reach out to the distributor because I know that it's a streamlined process if that's what I'm going to do.
Hmm. Yeah. So to answer Kevin's question, it is both. I mean, it kind of breaks down to whether or not a product is distributed or if it's sold direct from the manufacturer to the market, which is most of your carpet is sold, through just sales reps. And then, a lot of your tile and resilient products are sold through distributors. So you kind of deal with both of them. And it's a little unique because when you're dealing with a sales rep, like if I'm dealing with a distributor and I'm not getting an answer from my sales rep, I can call the manager of the distributor and be like, hey, look, I know you don't normally give pricing, but you're going to do that today because I need your help. If you could be so kind to help me out. But when you're dealing with carpet mills, you got to go to the RVP, to their boss if they're not answering to get the pricing. So it's a little more, I'd call it a little more delicate when you're dealing with the sales rep, that your only recourse is really to go above them, as opposed to at a distributorship, you can call the distributor, and a lot of times they can get pricing from the local manager or whatever.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, guys. Well, as I said, this one's going to be a little shorter. Do you guys got any nuggets of wisdom in closing here?
Just if you're just getting started in the flooring industry and you are on the install side working for another company, you might not have intentions of owning your own or moving up, but just in case that happens, man, just like Paul said earlier, just treat everyone with the same respect that you would treat the salesman, that you would treat your client. Just you don't know what chair anyone is going to be sitting in 10 years. So
yeah, Rollins says on here, just be kind.
Yeah, oh yeah,
just be kind. I like it.
One of the kindest guys I know right there.
And don't ever think that you already know everything, right? Because things change on a constant basis in our industry. The science behind things changes, and I'll reach out to some of our prep manufacturers and be like, hey, this is what we got going on. What would you do? And then they typically come back with, well, what were you thinking? Then I tell them, and they're like, well, what do you even, like, you already know the system. Why are you even asking? It's like, because I need to make sure that nothing's changed on anything before I proceed and, start giving numbers. And it's just, that just opens it up for more dialogue to get more personal with them as well. Eduardo said we just got to read the labels.
Yeah. Speaking of what Daniel just said, just to add to that too is, whether it's a distributor rep or a manufacturer rep, don't forget about the tech reps. That relationship is also important, and it could coincide with the sales reps relationship as well, because one feeds the other. Don't be afraid to call that 1-800 number that's listed on there if you have questions. Because
you'll get to know some of those tech guys.
Yeah, I called one of them one time. We're doing some, I forget what we were doing, a rubber stairwell or something, and something just changed in the spec, so I called to ask a question, and I get on the phone and they're like, yeah, this is this person. I'm like, oh, I know you.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys again for joining and contributing and always being a good partner in this deal and a staple. I really appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Yeah,
not Christmas. Sure if I'll see you. Merry Christmas to everybody, all the audience, anybody watching on YouTube later. Merry Christmas to everybody. I wanted to announce that the Forward Progress Scholarship, the SIM, last week, we ended with 16 applicants, and I was told that's really good. So
really?
I want to thank everybody. That's awesome. I didn't know what to expect. Next week's huddle, or the following week. Hold on, I'm being told. My supervisor's telling me something new here. Hold on. Huh?
It'll be January 10th.
Is that our next huddle? Is January 10th then?
No, are we not going to do it?
Are we Yeah, but we're announcing January 10th. Okay. Okay. Correction. January 10th, we're gonna do a live drawing of the applicants. So we're basically going to crumble them up into little paper balls and
that's how
make
we're
it
doing
like
it?
a lottery. And we're just going to pick the winner live. And a lot of times these things have criteria. We're not posting any criteria. It's just whoever gets picked out of the till. So
Do it bingo card style.
yeah.
Yeah,
B
Eduardo's
40.
a sim too, and he said it's definitely worth it. So
Yeah,
whoever
so
wins this is gonna get some great knowledge.
Yep, we're very excited about that. We're going to look at offering this Forward Scholarship or Forward Progress Scholarship at least once a year. We may do it more often if we get really good. If we got 16 this time, the next time I want to see 20 or 25. So if we see those numbers going up, we're going to continue to sponsor that, and try to do our best in giving back and increasing the knowledge. And again, I want to thank everybody who applied, and I wish you the best. Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you guys next week, and we'll be pulling on the tent to see who our winner is.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, again, Merry Christmas, and have a Happy New Year as well, and we will chat with you guys next Tuesday.
Until
All right,
next time. Thanks.
see ya. Merry
All right.
Christmas.
Bye, guys.